you? I am really excited to work with a new stone today. And in this series, Let's Get Stoned, I would like to encourage you to get to know your crystals. Don't take everyone else's word for it. See how it feels to you before working with it, and actually work with your crystals. Like, don't just sit them there because they look pretty. Um, Carry them in your pocket, stick them in your bra, put them in crystal grids, give them a job to do, ask for their help because they really do want to communicate with us. There is a reason that you are drawn to them, and that's what I'll be doing today. I'm going to meditate with this is Orchid Calcite. It's like a beautiful orangey peachy color. It looks like there's probably some other sort of mineral mixed in there. Not really sure what. I think that this is also Orchid Calcite, but I'll have to double check on that. I do know that the black specks are black tourmaline. Um, I'm pretty sure that's what this is, but I'm not positive. And it's kind of interesting how different they look. This is definitely more pinky, and then this is more orangey. So I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. I've got my notebook next to me, so I will take some notes afterwards and tell you guys how I how I feel afterwards, and then I'll come back later and compare it to research, and we'll just see how accurate the research is compared to how I feel. And yeah, that's it. I'm setting it for 10 minutes. Hopefully that should be enough time. Oh, I have been carrying this around in my pocket while I have been working today, working on some packaging up orders and stuff like that. So I've just kind of been holding on to it for a while. That way I can hopefully get away with the 10-minute meditation and have that be enough time to really get a feel for it. All right, here we go. Let's get started. I'm having a good day. This is like the second time that I've meditated today. Um, so, it always takes me a while to like wake back up. So a lot of energy, like I kind of didn't really want to sit still, and I really wanted to like move my body and my lower body. Oh, I also felt like this tingly, like almost kind of like itchy feeling like in my lower abdomen. But I really like wanted to, like, I felt like this opening in my hips, and like I even like wanted to stretch my leg out, and um, it felt very like hip opening, and specifically like in the front, the muscles that are attached to the hip bone in the front versus like versus in like the glutes or the QL. So anterior. I mean, so the only thing I know about this so far is that because it's orange, it's probably related to the sacral chakra. Which has to do with our sexuality and creativity. But it definitely felt like an opening in that area. And energetic, almost like kind of similar to carnelian, which is also orange and a sacral chakra stone. So it like it just made me feel like I wanted to like get up and move and dance. Like I wanted to like move my hips and dance and stretch my legs out. And because I like of the orange color, like that's why I like had it in my pocket earlier when I was packing up orders, which I know it sounds kind of mundane and boring, but it is like a creative process for me to I like wrapping everything and putting little fun things in the packages, so it is a creative process for me. So that's why I had it in my pocket, hoping that due to its orange color that it would help stimulate creativity as well. Now I'm sleepy. I meditated twice today on a rainy day. So I'll go and do some more research, and I'll come back and see if what I felt in meditation corresponds to research on orchid calcite. And thank you so much for watching. I'll be back. Hi friends, welcome back to Let's Get Stoned with Orchid Calcite. Again, I have two different versions of it here, and I just want to use, even though I was using these two to meditate with because I like holding them in two hands, I just wanted to use this obelisk as well because it has the black tourmaline in it. So I wanted to make sure that that's very clear, that that's what makes the difference between orange calcite and orchid calcite. So it's orchid, like orchid the flower. And so the difference is that orchid calcite has the black tourmaline in it. And in this particular piece, you can see the black specks really well, whereas on this one you can't as much. So I meditated again with orchid calcite because it has been a while since I filmed that first one, so I just wanted to like get back into that energy so that I'm able to talk about it. And one thing that really came up clear for me about this stone is that it is specifically for sacral chakra energy, clearing, sexual healing. I'll get more into the research later, but in this last meditation that I did, I really it was kind of hard to meditate with it because I just really wanted to move and stretch. And I have another video coming up with orange calcite, and I can really feel the difference with the black tourmaline, like grounding you and pulling you down, whereas the orange calcite is more like fluid and feminine, and it's like, yeah, move those hips, but the orchid calcite is more like, wait, you gotta stretch first. You haven't moved your hips like that in a while. Like let's get things moving slowly before we like get into like a lot of more movement. I mean that it's like I even had to lay down, and so like a really good like hip opening stretch is to lay down with your knees up and just kind of with your back straight, like you're laying down with your back straight, rolling your knees to one side and then doing it on the other side, rolling to the other. And that's gonna give a good stretch to your psoas muscle, which is predominantly tight on everybody. Even though I'm a massage therapist, I really don't work on people's abdomen that much, even though it's extremely beneficial and I encourage it for self-care. It's not something that a lot of people feel comfortable with somebody else doing for them. So focusing on your psoas muscle is really important, and stretching, and Orchid Calcite was really just making me feel like I needed to stretch my hips out, which I have a lot of lower back issues, hip issues, left issues that are chronic and have been around for a really long time. So it's kind of interesting to like really bring my attention to that, because it's when you've had something going on for so long, you just kind of get used to it and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be in pain forever. And it's really important to take care of yourself. So the psoas muscle is predominantly tight on everybody because we sit so much. It's a muscle that attaches on the back of your spine and kind of goes through your torso and then attaches on one of your hip bones. So it is the muscle that is shortening when we are seated. I mean, as well as the abdominal muscles, but the psoas tends to be the one that is really like pulling and causing different hip dysfunctions. So the Orchid Calcite, like 100% was just like, you got to open your hips, but you got to stretch them first before you get that like sacral energy flowing. So into the research about Orchid Calcite is that it does awaken your sacral chakra and your passion and creativity while also grounding. And that's where the black tourmaline energy comes in. So it has the qualities of black tourmaline, which it's protecting, it's grounding, it can provide an energetic shield. It also seals auric holes if you feel like you have an energy leak within your energetic field. It can help seal those holes, and it connects you with divine wisdom. And the reason I wanted to point that out specifically, because the energy when meditating with the Orchid Calcite, I felt this very divine masculine energy, like a sexual masculine energy, compared to the orange calcite by itself feels very feminine to me as far as sexual creative energy goes. So that's interesting that it's the black tourmaline that brings in that divine, connects with divine wisdom, is what came up in the research. So I really felt that, but it was like a more of a divine masculine energy, whereas the orange calcite by itself is a more feminine. So with the two together, you could kind of see it being like a union of feminine and masculine. And then the orange calcite, again by itself, but I will also talk about this in another video, is the creativity, sexual energy, and creative expansion. So combining those together, it's perfect. It's perfect for, because when you're creative, you kind of just like go with the flow, and you're kind of might be like all over the place, and you have like all these ideas, and you're jumping from project to project, and you're never actually finishing anything. So the black tourmaline like brings you back down to center and helps you, give you that stability, and while you're able to create and finish things. So it also eases emotional stress. It combats laziness, so that's going to again be that grounding creative energy. It gets you moving, but it gets you moving in a direct sort of way, in an organized sort of way. So this was a quote from a teacher from one of my crystal classes that I transcribed from the class that we took, and it says that it removes karmic hooks and memories of old abuse held in the sacral chakra and facilitates healing. And I really felt this to be true in the second meditation that I did, because not only could I not stop moving and stretching while I was just trying to sit there in meditation, I couldn't clear my mind, and these random memories came up of one time I was strip searched at the airport, and I felt extremely sexually violated because there wasn't any cause for them to do it. And it's just so random for this to pop up. And I didn't really know that that was like an energetic blockage because I was just like, okay, so this happened. Like, I just didn't know that I was holding that energy there. Um, it was just this thing that happened. And I felt I was like embarrassed, and I did feel violated because I don't feel like there was any reason for them to treat me that way. Um, and their reason for strip searching me was because they said that it looked like I had, or when they had patted me down, and they said that it felt like I had something in my pants, and I, like there was like it was the weirdest, most awkward thing ever. Like, they had me take my pants off, and I'm just standing there in my underwear, and I'm like, it, like, like what did you feel? The only thing that I can think of is I was wearing jeans, and I never wear jeans to the airport, and I mean, there's like a button and a zipper and a fly, and maybe that seemed like I had something in my pants, but I don't know. It was the weirdest thing, and I didn't know that I was holding that. I didn't know that I was holding that. Like, I wouldn't call it trauma. It was just like an extreme violation of my personal property. Um, so weird that came up. Like, again, it was like I couldn't stop moving, and wanting to stretch and open my hips, and then I just kept thinking about that thing, and I was like, well, why? Like, is this really like blocking me sexually? And I just kind of like working through this memory and figuring out like why it popped up in meditation. Um, so again, removing karmic hooks and memories of old abuse held in the sacral chakra and facilitates healing. I really feel like this is an important stone to work with, because if I'm holding something like that, I mean, yes, it was a violation, but something that I have had plenty more sexual trauma and things that are way more deeper than something. So that's just like scratching the superficial layer of whatever blockages I'm holding in my sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is a really important chakra to be working on because it holds our creativity. If you want to live a creative life, if you feel like you're a creative person, I think we all are creative people. But we are taught in society to not, that you can't make, it's like that art isn't important, that you can't make a living off of being an artist, and that we're really taught to suppress our creative energy. So this stone is really important to be working with to help unblock those sacral blockages. But again, because of the black tourmaline, it feels very safe and very protective of you, and that, so it makes you feel comfortable to work through whatever things that you need to work through. And we all have them. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. We all have them, and something that is just on the surface level of what's blocking my sexual energy is just a really important realization to come to, that I have a lot more work to do, because I focus on the big things, but then there's also these little things that are blocking that energy. So really important to work for that stone for those specific reasons. And then it's also going to help you be creative in your day-to-day life, which for me is very important because I am a very creative person, but yet I do not have a creative job, or at least the job that brings
me income and supports my livelihood is not creative. So being creative in my daily life is really important to me. So that's like a really awesome property of this stone. And it's also said to heal the reproductive system and reduce inflammation in the sacral chakra area, which, if you don't know, your sacral chakra is below your belly button. And then your solar plexus is about 2 inches above your belly button. So right in the lower and middle of your abdomen for those two chakras. And because I've been doing a lot of sacral chakra stones, coincidentally, I will be doing a sacral chakra video with all the stones that we have talked about, to kind of give a more, this is a more just like free-flowing information that comes up during meditation, whereas with the sacral chakra video, I would like to have a more like linear, these are the properties of all of these stones. So it will be talking about a group of stones versus just one stone. So that, I mean, I'm always talking about coming up with things and then it never happens, but if I continue to work with Orchid Calcite, then maybe it will come to fruition. And so that was all of the research that I had. It's also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but because of the black tourmaline, it also correlates with the root chakra, because black tourmaline is a root chakra stone, which is the stone, or which is the chakra below the sacral chakra, and that is a red chakra. However, black is also a color associated with it as well. So like black stones are usually associated with your root chakra. So to wrap everything up, it has both of the properties of orange calcite and black tourmaline, making it correlate to the root and the sacral chakra. It awakens passion and creativity while grounding. So it's going to stimulate sexual, creative energy, as well as protecting and shielding energy. It helps with releasing emotional stress and healing old wounds and facilitating healing, and encourages creativity just all around. So a super wonderful stone to be working with. I've been carrying these in my bra for the past week, and it's really helped keep me productive and creative during the day. So I highly recommend getting some Orchid Calcite, and coming up in the next video, hopefully within the next week or so, will be orange calcite, and we're also going to be talking about some copper. So a lot of sacral chakra stones coming up, and if you are enjoying these videos, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.